everyone, it's me, Nikki, and today I'm here with my June wrap up. I don't even know months anymore. I only read 8 books. No, I read 9 books. I forgot about that one. I had a reading slump during the middle of the month, you know what I mean? Like just a week into the month essentially. And then my cat went missing for 4 days and I couldn't do anything. And then we found him, and then his asthma was really bad, so I was worried about that. I just didn't read at all except for this. So I finished my Make Your Myth Taker, kind of. But I was not able to complete the Olympic Games, sorry. And I was not able to complete the Witcher-a-thon. So, but let's start with the books that I read. The first one I have here is The Book of Lost Tales 2 by J.R.R. Tolkien, and then edited by his son Christopher. I actually liked this one better than the first one because it's essentially a collection of both this one and the other one are the collection of tales that J.R.R. Tolkien came up with as like background for everybody. So this one has the tale of Tinuviel, which is essentially Beren and Luthien, the fall of Gondolin, that necklace that the dwarves and elves fought over, Ariandil, and Turin. So that's all in here, but it's like the first draft sort of stuff, and it's got a lot of notes from his son about what everything was. I skipped over that, but it was fine. It was good. I actually like this one better because I knew the stories. In this one, in the first book, I had no idea what those stories were. Next we have some of these I did write notes for because this was the beginning of the month and I thought, yeah, I was gonna read, but I didn't. Dragons of Autumn Twilight, the volume 1 of the Dragonlance Chronicles, and the start of all of these people. I think I don't have them. I cannot find them. The twins, there's a twin trilogy about Raistlin and Cameron. That is somewhere in my house, and I'm pretty sure I read that first. But this is like D&D, basically. They've taken their D&D characters with them and their friends and written it into a book. Dragonlance is the world. So yeah, that was really fun. Raistlin is your mage, wizard, whichever one needs the book, I don't know. And he's not good because he's got the red robe, which is because there's white, red, and black, I think I remember. White is good, red is neutral, and black is bad. And I believe Raced gets the black robes at some point. And then Cameron is your barbarian, and he's just a big, lovable idiot. And he's very good and strong, and Raistlin is very weak and sickly, but they're twins. It's interesting. Obviously, not pictured on this cover is Tasselhoff. Oh, what is his last name? Tasselhoff is essentially the best. He's a Kender. I love him. He's amazing. He makes everything better. There is 2 dragons? There are 2 dragons in this. One is very sad at the end. There are graphic depictions of a burned body, so I would watch out for that if that makes you upset. there's a lot of fighting and destruction of stuff. I have a note. Oh, I know what the note is. There's also a lot of like comedy fighting, particularly between Taz and Flint. Like, Flint will go to do something and then Taz will trip him and then the bad guy will fall over. And I wish there was more comedy fighting in my D&D group. And the thing that really made me laugh is on page 335. Where they have a choice to make to like you do in D&D. You can go like a couple ways, and Tanis, their leader, half-elven ranger probably. No, he doesn't get a cat. He doesn't get a pet. Whatever. He's like, this group's gonna go here, everybody else leaves. And they're like, no, we're not. And he says, I didn't truly believe we should separate. It's a sensible, logical thing to do, of course, which is why we won't do it. And that sums up a D&D group. If there's a sensible thing, it never happens. It's always like going one way. And then also Fizban, who they meet in the later half of the books. Perfection. Him and Taz are hysterical together. So yes, I enjoyed that. Can't wait to read the others. This one I really liked. Ugh, God, I wrote a lot of notes for this. Holy shit. I think this was like the first book I read, so that's why I have. This is Immortal Bane by Roberta Gellis. I don't know why that just stumbled out. And it is about Magdalena, who runs a brothel, and there are 3 women. Sabina, who is beautiful and blind, Lettice, who is black and mute, and Ella, who is, they call her stupid, but she's not. She's just almost like naive, but she really likes sex. So she's not super naive, but when it like comes to simple, I suppose, but you know, she doesn't like make the connections in her head, like because they find there's a body and they don't tell her, and when they talk about it, then they like lie to her, and she goes, oh yeah, okay. But she's really sweet, and she is an adult, and she knows what she wants. So they live next to, like, here's their house, and then there's like a little fence, gate, wall with a wall, and then it leads into like a priory, and I'm not sure what this house, was it a nunnery? It was something, and then it wasn't. So the brothers over at the priory, not all of them, but most of them are assholes, which is typical because they call them whores and all these things. And this is in England during I was going to say the Reign of Terror, but that's in France. The thing between Stephen and Maud, it's called something, I can't remember. And Magdalena does not want this dead fucking body found anywhere near her, because he's actually found at the chapel, but he had been to Magdalena's house and slept with Sabina, sorry. And so she's like hiding everything. Then the Bishop of Winchester, who was Stephen's brother, put Sir Bellamy in charge of finding it out, and he's smart like Magdalena, so they sort of work together. And Bellamy falls in love, but he's also like an asshole about it because he thinks she's sleeping around and she doesn't. I think she might sleep with William of Ypres, who is like her patron. With Stephen, he makes sure that nobody hurts her. And I thought that was really nice because after he apologizes for being an asshole, Belle is like, you're also pretty and you're fucking smart and I'm willing to work for you to fall in love with me. They also have, so funny, a cook named Dolce, who is deaf, so that is just hilarious whenever she's around, and these brothers are running in like, bah, 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 and she's like, what? I can't hear you. There's sorts of violence against the women, and then it ties into, well, there are stolen items from the church, and I'm like, those are definitely, like, I've watched enough, this is British, to, like, I don't know if Roberta Gellis is British, but the setting is British, and I've watched enough British mysteries that if there's, like, two things happening, they are definitely connected. So, and they solved the murder, the crimes, and it was fantastic. And I also liked, I didn't write down the page, but she said, Magdalena says, will I, nil I, and I'm like, oh my god, the beginnings of willy-nilly. I love it when that happens in books, where you find out like, oh yeah. So that was good. I'd like to read more. And next I have Canterbury Tales by Geoffrey Chaucer. I did not read the whole thing. I read Group A, which is the prologue, Knight's Tale, Miller's Tale, Reeve's Tale, and Cook's Tale, which is just a fragment, because this was for my band book. And so the Knight's Tale is boring and typical of a knight, but it is, I just lost the page. The Miller's and Reeve's Tale is where it gets banned because the Miller has cheating. They're basically like sniping at each other, because the Miller's Tale protagonist is a Reeve, I think, and the Reeve's Tale protagonist is a Miller. So the Miller's Tale is about cuckolding, and somebody kisses an ass, literally, and not the cheek. Somebody else gets a poker up the ass. And then in the Reeve's Tale, it is about he gets cuckolded again, and there's lots of sex and debauchery and stuff. So I figured that was enough to do it for that prompt. But yeah, I did, and I thought that was funny. And then I never got to it, but I did read right there, Chaucer's Tale of Sir Topaz, and then the host stops Chaucer. So Chaucer the author has written Chaucer the character, who is about to tell a story, and it's bad. The Sir Topaz tale is bad. That's why the host stops him. And the meta of that, like, before people used meta as a thing, like, but Chaucer's amazing. So yes, I count that as reading it. Don't come for me. Next I have The Curse of Chalion, and it has politics, magic, crows. There were crows in it. So there are like 5 gods: a son, a father, a daughter, a mother, and then a bastard. So when you die, each of those gods has an animal, and if you don't get picked by the 4, you usually get picked by the bastard's rats, I think. Might be mice. And in this book, someone doesn't get picked by any, and everybody goes, what the fuck? And it's up to Kaz here, Kazaril, to fix it. He's was tortured he was sold into slavery and tortured. He was on a ship where they do rowing, like under deck, and he would be whipped. So he's awesome. And the crows are right there, also the bastards animals, and they very much like Kaz. So Kaz has been chosen by the bastard to do something, and he is also chosen by the daughter because he is helping. He becomes the secretary to, I can't remember her name right now. What is her name? The princess, essentially. And there is the man who sold him off wants to marry this princess, and he's an asshole. He's raped this man and his brother both raped the current queen, the princess's sister-in-law. And this asshole took more pleasure in it than his brother, but they're both assholes. And there's this whole curse. It affects the whole family line, so the princess and her two brothers and her mother and her sister-in-law. So then this asshole dies. And then a lot of other people die, and the princess is like, oh shit, and she runs off to get married so nobody else can take advantage of her. And that's up to Kaz as well. So there is rape, mention of attempt, like the bad guy threatens to rape her. There is animal death. It's pretty, it's not too gruesome, but it is there. And then in the midst of all that, there is a very cute romance between Kaz and the princess's friend, whose name I have also forgotten. But it was a good book. Next I read The Lost City, the Ark. I have a video on this, a whole review video just on this, so I won't talk about it too much. But it is set in the world of Trilel. I don't know how to say that. And it's almost like urbanish fantasy. And I did enjoy it. I'm intrigued about what happens and where it will go from there. Next, I finished the Grishaverse with Ruin and Rising. I liked it. I know that a lot of people didn't like the ending, and I guess it does suck that Alina's powers went away, and so did Mal's. And I still don't understand, like, why everybody likes the Darkling. He's a fucking asshole. There's a fucking prince right there. Like, Nikolai's amazing. And everybody's like, ooh, Darkling daddy. I'm like, no, Nikolai, please. I liked all the characters in it. I liked that fucking Nikolai's father got the comeuppance. Genya is fucking amazing. I adore her. So yeah, I enjoyed the ending. And I was going to read The King of Scars, but I think I got Grisha'd out. Like, this was a lot to take in, so I'm not picking it up next month, but I might try it for August. We'll see. We shall see. And then I read The Sin and the Steel ARC copy with no maps. Again, I have a whole review video coming for this. I liked it. It wasn't like quite what I was expecting, but I did enjoy it. I thought it was very good. There is, I say this in my review video, but there is blood. Somebody gets shot in the head, and there's graphic depictions of war, which makes sense because I believe I saw it on Amazon. Ryan Van Loan was in the army. He was over in the Middle East, I believe. And the last book I read was, let me find it, was Pirates and Privateers, the First of the Intelligencers by Jane Glatt, I believe that's how you say it. And this is about Dag and her twin sister who have gifts. Like, so Dag's is to be unseen, so she sees all the hidden things, like hidden paths, hidden traits, and nobody sees her, even though she's like identical to her twin. And her sister is seen, so everybody sees her. And I don't know if it's because her twin is more sheltered, but if somebody tells her something, she takes it at face value, whereas Dag is like, ugh. So, a lot of people have traits in this world. The guy whose name I've forgotten, let me pull it up. Because Dag's love interest, which was pretty cute, Calder. His is luck, so he has extraordinary luck. Inger is her sister's name. And they work for a company that doesn't want anyone to know about the traits. Like, they know they have them, but they won't tell you what everybody's is. So Inger stays back and Dag does all the work, and then Inger gets she runs away, and Dag goes looking for her, and there are pirates, and the pirates aren't great, and it takes a very long time for Inger to realize this. And there's other stuff going on, and it is amazing. This was given to me by Taiki Books, and the second one is called Traits and Traders, and I will be reading that next month. And I think, let's find it. When does the third one come out? Sailors and Spies comes out summer 2020. So I'm excited for that. Because I'm assuming that Pirates and Privateers, well, I know Pirates and Privateers ended on like a cliffhanger, so I'm assuming Traits and Traders does the same thing. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe my heart will be broken again. But yeah, those are the books I read. I think that's all of them. Yes. Yes. And thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.